Actually, I was just gonna kind of show you some of the posters that we've used throughout the past like 5 years, and just kind of give you a little story behind each one, why it was used, what event we created it for, and just kind of share a little bit of. By that way too, you get a little bit of the history of the movement, also. But these were the first posters I remember seeing at midnight special in Santa Monica, the bookstore outside of LA near the beach there. And I didn't know you were going to bring some, so I brought some too. But this was the original poster, and it's also on the back of the T-shirts. We are not Latino, not Hispanic, and it says 1995, so it's a good 15 years ago. And there was a couple of others that I remember seeing too. This one was one of the first versions of the counting poster, and it has the Mayan numerals along with the calendar dates, and then some of the Nahuatl words for the calendar dates. This one too, I remember this one specifically in Midnight Special's window, walking by and seeing this one. This is like one of the first things that ever caught my eye. This was even before what I knew what the Mexica Movement was, what it was about. And a lot of the artwork is very similar to what's in the handbook. So I assume you did the artwork in the handbook too. Yeah. But then in 2004, I got a job at a print shop in Studio City, which is right outside LA. And they have a printer there that prints color posters and other things. And that just allowed me to start making these color versions for the group. And the very first poster I made was for an event over at East LA College. And this was in November 2004. And it was on Anáhuac, celebrating the heritage of Mexicans and Central Americans as indigenous people. And at the time, Jesse, I think Citlali was there too. They were students at East LA College, and they had a club called the Anáhuac Studies Club. And it was kind of a group there that was trying to share the message with the students in the heart of East LA. This is another event that we put on. And I remember that event being very successful, the one that we had there. There were weekend events. It was in the auditorium of the school. This was also 2005. It was on the Mexica civilization. And this kind of incorporated some of the artwork of Nayolo, who is the muralist for the Anáhuac mural in East LA, which I'm sure some of you have seen photos of and videos. This poster was one of the first ones that we used that was not for an event. It was for teaching, and I think Olene had this already, and all I did was scan it in and reproduce it on the computer at work. And this was something that you have had for a long time, if I can recall correctly. And this one here was one of the first posters also that we made. This was one of the, like, taking the shirt that used to say stolen lands.
Yeah, stolen lands. Yeah.
And this was the first poster that kind of took it and kind of modified it a little bit to say stolen continent since 1492. And I remember people attacking this poster by saying, look at these dummies, there's two continents here, and they only have one. And this was kind of, I guess they missed the point of the whole thing, was who says that these are two different continents? It's kind of a mental creation in a way. I mean, how is Europe its own continent when it's a piece of Asia? I mean, this is all obviously one landmass. And this one here was our first Spanish version of that poster. And I think this was Jesse's idea. Jesse came up with the idea to put it into Spanish. Some of the materials there so we could share it with those who just speak Spanish. And this one here was in response to a guy named Doug McIntyre, who was a radio DJ, talk radio host on KABC And at one point in, I think it was 2000, I want to say 2005 or 2006, he had an attack against the school in East LA. What was the name of the school? That was,
It's a music club.
and it was a school that supposedly teaches children, you know, the history of being Mexican, but with an indigenous spin to it. Although they don't really teach. Do they teach Nahuatl?
They do.
They do, along with Mandarin and other things. But anyway, this Doug McIntyre sent a reporter there, undercover, to kind of harass the students there and the teachers and the parents, because he was upset that public funds were being used for this racist school. And what caused a big commotion. Eventually, there were death threats to the kids through Doug McIntyre fueling this whole hatred on the radio day after day after day. And there's even a video on YouTube, if you look it up. I think it's called Seeds of Hate. But they have the recordings that were made on this, you know, at this school. And they're saying things like, "We're going to kill you little fuckers," and, you know, really mean, vicious stuff.
Everybody is completely aware of what kind of diabolical shitbag you are. You're a racist, you're a scumbag, you're a Mexican, and it's always going to stay that way. You people are fucking doomed. It's over for you. Bye-bye. Hey, don't forget to close the door and shut the light before you head back to Tijuana. It's going to be a pleasure murdering you, okay? We're going to just set the whole school ablaze while it's in session. But you better get lots of La Raza to protect you, fucking beaner. You're done. You're done. You're so done. This is great. When we get done, that school's going to smell like burnt tortillas and beans. Have a great day, beaners. I just love what you're doing down there, you racist fucking scumbag animal beaners. I hope you all burn. I hope you're all there when the place goes up. Check around for bombs, too.
And since KABC was owned by Disney, but the next obvious step was to take the boycott public to Disney itself. And so this is another poster along the same themes as that one. You know, ABC spells old-fashioned racism. It was also a, you know, just kind of boycott and bring awareness to what was being done through their ownership of KABC, which allowed Doug McIntyre to go unfettered and saying these hateful things. I mean, who else would allow? I mean, who else could you talk about in such a negative way, day in and day out? You know, just say just terrible, nasty things about people. I mean, that one woman who was Helen Thomas, who was a reporter for Washington, D.C. for 50 years, one sentence, you know, the Jews should get out of Palestine, fired, just like that.
Any comments on Israel? We're asking everybody today. Any comments
Tell them
on
to
Israel?
get the hell out of Palestine.
Ooh. Any better comments than that?
Helen is blind.
Remember, these people are occupied, and it's their land. It's not German, it's not Poland.
So where should they go? What should they do?
They go home.
Where's the home?
Poland
So the Jews,
Germany.
You think the Jews go back to Poland and Germany?
and America and everywhere else.
But this guy, Doug McIntyre, for months and months, every day, would say hateful and mean things about our people, and, you know, very, very racist things, and very little was done. Similar thing, ABC spells white supremacy. And I recall, I think it was the University of CSUN, California State University, Northridge, had a subvertisements exhibit once, and they did have a couple of the posters from the ABC thing in their exhibit. I think that was about 4 years ago.